All right, so we have Alejandro's image first for still time. So still time are objects that are at rest. We're not looking for a before and after. We're not seeing a movement in time. This image could be taken at 1/1000th of a second, or it could be taken at 5 minutes, and we shouldn't be able to tell a difference. And that's definitely what we have here. So we're looking down at a photography book. We have a old film camera. We have a glass of wine, and it just has a very peaceful, reflective feeling. So not only are the subjects all clearly at rest here, we also have a feeling of rest, right? This looks very relaxing, very engaging for the viewer to just take a second and breathe as we're looking at this image. So this is a good example of not only showing still time, but conceptually backing that up. Yeah, it looks like you had a lot of fun with this assignment, playing with your underwater housing, lots of fun images there. The painting with light were all pretty, not all successful, but all successful in that you were able to capture what you wanted to, I think. So nice job. This image is by Jonah and also still time. So this is a long exposure, 0.8 seconds, but there's no movement happening. So we have these flowers that are in a vase, and the flowers in the vase, all of that's very pretty, but what's working really well to emphasize this idea of still time, this softness, this restful thing, is the light that's coming in. So that light is very reflective and works really well for this still time. So not only does the subject work and clearly represent still time, the concept works also, and the light is really getting that across. All right, so we have a lot of fun with the frozen time. Your kids are enjoying themselves. Wherever you live is so sunny. Some painting with light for you, the still image that we just saw. Which of these did you choose? Just so I can be a little bit picky. This is just coming right out to the edge. Yeah, I wonder if this fills the frame a little bit better without having quite as much negative space. This might be a more successful image as far as your still image. And then playing around with the extrusive time. So great job with all of these this week again. This is Kate's image for still time. You're at 1/60th of a second, f/25. So here I would open up your aperture some. So this image is overall pretty underexposed. We'd want to see it like about there, about a full stop more exposure. So what you need to do is probably open up your aperture from f/25 to f/18 would be one full stop more exposure with your aperture. So that would be a way for you to correct this. As far as the idea of still time, it looks like we're at like a baseball or softball dugout. And it's just, there's no one there. It's just at rest. Everything is very still and it has a reflective feeling. Also, the light on the top of the benches as they're coming across is working really well to bring attention to them and bring shape and texture to them. This image is by James. Let's see, we're at ISO 100, 30 millimeters, f/5.6 at 1 second. So all of the settings look good here. The subject, you have lemonade, you have the lemons on the sides of my still life that you've created. So all of that's working really well. The idea, the restful nature of this, I think comes across. And I think you could further that by using a really soft window light. It looks like it's sunny outside from this window reflection here, but it also looks like this is artificial light, and the color of the light looks like it's artificial light. So I would move this closer to a window and eliminate what's in the background right here. This is not telling the story of like a cheery glass of lemonade. This is telling the story of working in the kitchen to make the lemonade. So if you moved this to a table close to the window, I think you could really elevate the concept behind it. So I think you did a great job nailing down still time. That's what your image is. But if we want to back up this lemonade with some concept to to give it more of a storyline, I think you could do that just by moving it closer to the light. Oh, this is fun. You play with the light behind it. That's pretty playful. Yeah, so I know you had a lot of issues with the cards as you were playing with them. I think you definitely chose your strongest image there. And then just playing with different types of balls, like I had said, I think will be helpful in order to get the right amount of movement. So we're really seeing that extrusive time. This image is by Catherine. We have 2 more images of objects that were at rest. So here you have a vase of some sort, and it's on the same background. So again, I would really encourage you to seek out different backgrounds. And just like I was mentioning with James's image, to tell a story with this, to use natural light, and to not just have a background that eliminates backgrounds, right? It's eliminating anything that would be distracting, but a background that tells a story. So if this is in your living room, maybe we can see the background of your living room. If you have other things that are decorated with the same kind of, the same type of like native sort of furniture or something. If not, maybe putting it outside and allowing just nature to be behind it might be a beautiful way to present it. But think about always telling the story fully, not just blocking it out with the background. And we can see here that's what you did with all of your images, is just have this plain background, which there's a time and a place for that, but it adds enough texture that it seems like it's about something without giving any more information about the subject. And then the last object that we have, this image is by Julian. You're at 1/10 of a second, so a little bit of a longer shutter speed. And again, we're in the kitchen here. And it looks like you probably just have some camera shake here. So your subject isn't still because it's not sharp, because there's nothing to look at and have our eye rest. So here you have a little bit of camera shake, it looks like, because you weren't on a tripod. Also, your subject might be too close to the camera lens, so you're not able to quite focus. So you guys are always welcome to reshoot images to try to raise your grade. And this would be an easy one for you to reshoot because your subject isn't sharp. So reshooting this and just having a sharp subject would allow us to have that detail. Now here, yeah, it looks like everything was just shot in your kitchen during this amount of time. So just make sure that you're using your scene to tell your story, that hula hooping in the kitchen isn't quite normal, or doing push-ups on the kitchen floor isn't exactly what we're expecting. So moving those to outside, and if that means that you have to shoot it at a different time of day to be able to capture the right light, to have movement, or to freeze someone, then those are the changes that you'll need to make. But make sure that the atmosphere, that the environment is telling the full story.